Hi friends, welcome to the channel. In today's video, the spotlight is on food sensitivities. We are going to talk about the real reason your safe foods list keeps shrinking and why the protocols you've tried up until this point haven't been working for you. And if you stick around at the end, I will give you an essential brain rewiring tip to help you start turning things around. I'm Angel Lavelle, a brain rewiring coach and the founder of Anxiety Rewired, the Renew and Rewire Brain Retraining Method, an online course and community where I teach a practical 5-step brain rewiring protocol to help God's kids, both men and women, heal from anxiety, fatigue, food sensitivities, and a growing list of health challenges. I come at this from a biblical perspective, so if you're looking for a faith-filled approach that won't compromise your beliefs with new age nonsense or worldly garbage, you are in the right place. So before we dive in, go ahead, hit like and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss a thing. All right, let's get started. In my own sensitivity journey, I remember not wanting to go to family or friends' houses simply because I couldn't eat what they were serving. I'd either have to inconvenience them with all my restrictions, eat beforehand, or pack my own food, which always felt awkward. And I would just sit there watching everyone else enjoy the foods that I love. It was isolating, emotional, and honestly, not the abundant life that God promises us. I had gone to a functional practitioner who put me on an elimination diet. And if you're not familiar with that, it's where you remove common trigger foods like wheat, dairy, eggs, corn, nuts for a period of time with the hope that your symptoms will improve. Then one by one, you can slowly reintroduce them and try to pinpoint which ones were actually causing the issue. Well, at first I felt a little relief in my symptoms, but it didn't last. And eventually the symptoms crept back in and so did the restrictions. I started cutting out more and more foods and until, it got to a point where I felt like anything I put in my mouth would trigger a reaction. Looking back, I probably should have questioned it. How was I suddenly reacting to foods I had eaten my entire life without having problems? But I didn't question it because I was told that I had leaky gut, maybe SIBO. So I did what they said to do. I started with bone broth, probiotics. I tried a low FODMAP diet, the gut healing powders, supplement protocols. I feel like I did all of it. And I swear I still was not getting better. And in fact, I was worse. Eventually, I started reacting to the very supplements I was taking to heal. Things that were supposed to help me were now triggering more issues to the point where I couldn't even tolerate a simple B complex. I don't know if you can relate, but if you do, just know you're not alone and there is a way out. So let's talk about what was really going on here, because it might surprise you. My functional practitioner, like many others, took a gut-first approach to food sensitivities. They recommended all the usual things, and while those weren't bad, they weren't actually getting to the root of why my body had become so reactive to foods and supplements in the first place. And at the time, I just assumed it had to be the food or that something was broken in my body. But it wasn't either of those things. It was my nervous system. It was dysregulated. And trying to heal my gut in that state was like trying to empty a bathtub while the water is still running. And that's why I was still struggling. In a dysregulated state, the brain can start to mislabel certain foods as threats and trigger very real symptoms in your body. Naturally, when that happens, your instinct is to avoid those foods. And while that might bring some short-term relief, avoidance is not a long-term solution. In fact, it backfires. It confirms to your brain that, yes, this food is dangerous, which then keeps sounding the food alarm in your brain. And that's what sets a cycle in motion. Avoidance confirms fear. Fear activates your stress response. Your stress response increases your brain's sensitivity. More sensitivity leads to more avoidance, and the cycle repeats. And eventually your brain starts flagging more and more foods as dangerous. And that's why your safe food list keeps shrinking and your symptom list keeps growing. So the bottom line is this: you do not have a food problem, you have a brain wiring problem. And that's actually pretty good news, because if it was wired in, it could be wired out. So here's your brain rewiring essential tip for this week. I want you to begin challenging the belief that food is the enemy, or that avoidance is the solution. Unless you have a true food allergy, it's not usually the food itself, rather your brain's response to it. So here is what I want you to do this week. Bring this before the Lord. Ask Him, Lord, is this restriction helping me heal, or is it keeping my nervous system stuck in a fear response? Pay attention to what you sense, what you hear, and where you feel Him leading you on this. You do not have to live in fear of food. You can retrain your brain to accept it again. Everything God created is good, and nothing is to be rejected if it is received with thanksgiving. That is 1 Timothy 4:4. God created food for your nourishment and enjoyment, not for it to become something you are enslaved to. And if you are feeling ready to start reintroducing foods so you can actually enjoy eating without fear of how your body will react, I want to invite you to check out the Renew and Rewire Brain Retraining Method. It is a Christ-centered program that walks you through this process with simple, faith-filled steps. It's the exact method I used. It's the exact method that is getting my clients results inside my program. You will find all the details linked in the description below, along with a free training if you want to learn more about it. And if this video blessed you or encouraged you or gave you an aha moment of any kind, can you be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel? All right, that's all I have for you today, and I will see you in the next video. You are loved.